Hey guys, this is Master Matt and welcome back to another video. Today we're gonna be talking on war stories, and I have one of the best war stories I have ever seen or looked at. Basically, as you can see in the background, I'm playing Heroes on Journal. It's a nice game. I have been playing it for 1 week. I created another account because unfortunately I forgot the last one. But I'm playing as the Germans or the Nazis, whatever you can call them. And it's a nice game. I think they did launch a new map. I forgot what it is, but I'll surely put the link in the description. It's free on Steam, so go play the game. It's free, I guess. It's a World War II game. Today I will be talking on Germans who actually fought the Nazis. Some of you guys might be saying that they might be actually traitors, yes. But for me, I think they're more like heroes. The fact that you're going against your leaders, basically they did the best thing. Now I'm not gonna say that Germany was on the bad side and the others were on the good side. Not like that. I think they had their ups and downs, but I mean, going against your own, how can I say it, like race or stuff like that, is difficult, I guess, but these guys did manage to do this. Klaus Ascher is also have a second name. Not actually a second name, he did change his name to Colin Anson or something like that. Sorry if that I might not pronounce words as they should be. Since this guy is from Germany, there's a lot of words in German, so I might misspell something, so sorry about that. If anything I might say incorrectly. I'm gonna refer to this guy as Klaus Ascher. Even though he changed his name, I'm not gonna be calling him as Anson. I'm gonna call him as Ascher because that's a cool surname. I want to say a bit of backstory on his bloodline. Basically, his patriotic father, who's called Edward Anson, was born in Germany and did fought in the First War. And his actual name was Edward Anson, because later on he did change his name from Ascher also to Anson. And his blonde mother actually was from Aryan. Now Aryan is another term used by Indo-Iranian people. Actually it's called, when you say Aryan, it actually means you're Indian. So his mom was actually Indian. Now Klaus Ascher was actually born in 1922. And when the Second World War broke out, Ascher was still 18 years old and he was quick to volunteer. Unfortunately, Edward, which was his father, did die a horrific death in Dausch, which was the concentration camp. As I said, Ascher was not actually fighting with Germans. His name was, as I said, changed to Colin Anson, and he was actually a Royal Marine commando. I mean, he became part of the Royal Marines and from the Pioneer Corps, who actually swore allegiance to the king and country. The Royal Pioneer Corps were a British Army combatant corps used for light engineering tasks, so he actually was an engineer. They were among 10,000 Germans and Austrians who fled Nazi persecutions, took refuge in British territories, and also volunteered to join the battle against Hitler. These, allies or traitors, you can call them like that, were actually called under the term of enemy aliens. Aliens, I think they called them aliens basically because actually they didn't belong there and they were from different kind of. These German/Austrians basically were known as soldiers. However, they took part in operations behind enemy lines, such as vital intelligence work, and also participated in the D-Day landings. In every case, their objectives were to defeat their own country, to rid the world of fascism. Klaus' father, which was Edward, was a German First World War veteran who was disillusioned by Hitler's rise to power. And also Anson did escape to British just before his 17th birthday, although his mother was unable to follow him. Many took English names. Anson's, whose name started with an A, he had to choose a new one. So when an Avro Anson twin engine flew over, he thought he will use that. In 1942, the German escapees were allowed to enlist in the fighting units, and Anson was eventually attached to the 40th Royal Marine Commando. During this invasion of Sicily, his assault ship came under attack from German bombers. Anson recalled that there were a lot of casualties, and he was knocked out by the blast. He did actually ask for bandages and medical supplies. However, the sergeant actually told him to sit against the wall and not actually move. Klaus did actually thought that something was fishy, from the fact that they told him actually to just sit against the wall and just do nothing. That was very suspicious by Klaus. Anson evacuation took so long for a reason. Now the reason behind it is basically that the sergeants didn't actually know that he will survive the night, so they left him there, and early in the morning when they found him still alive, they were very surprised. Unfortunately, because of the German bombers, and they probably throw a lot of bombs. Shrapnel is basically bomb fragments, so after the bomb attack they found that there were a lot of shrapnel in his skull, embedded in his skull, and he still remains with them till this very day. I mean, not actually till this very day, because he actually died, but he had to stay with bomb fragments in his skull to his entire life. After the war, he was reunited with his mother in Frankfurt, and he brought her back to Britain. In 1951, Anson married Alice Gross, a refugee from Vienna who actually joined the British war effort and worked in the photographic section of Bomber Commando HQ at High Combe, Buckinghamshire. The Germans who escaped, and also the Austrians, they did say that they found themselves fighting for the other side. Now, do you know actually why did they fight? Were determined so much to fight in this war. Actually, they did say that when they received the army uniform from the British, of course, they realized that they should have the determination to fight with them. So basically, their uniform got them determined to fight against Germany. The risks were so much high that Germans who were caught behind enemy lines were actually tortured and executed as traitors. Many of those who survived helped rebuild their homelands and hunt for Nazi war criminals before settling into Britain for good. They included Sir Ken Adams. Now, Sir Ken Adams were actually a German fighter pilot in the RAF who became a production designer of more than 70 films. Now, there was a reason why I said there's Germans who actually were heroes. Now, this guy, which was called Geoffrey Parry, was the man who caught Britain's most notorious traitor. He was actually born in Horst Pinschauer to Jewish parents in Berlin. Unfortunately, for a good war story, there's always a bad ending. As I've said, Anson did actually die, or Klaus did actually die at the age of 94, and also his wife did die, I think, a week apart. However, their death was a bit suspicious, and I found it very awkward to read it. Also to research. They actually took 30 morphine tablets that they actually were gifted by a friend who committed suicide 3 years earlier than their death. Actually, they didn't die on the spot. Mrs. Anson, which was Alice, did phone for the ambulance, and they did say that they need help. Ambulance did came and they took them to hospital. However, they got pneumonia and they did die 11 days apart. So yeah, actually it wasn't actually a week, it actually was almost 2 weeks. And however, this incident was all because of the morphine. which were actually painkiller. That concludes to our video. Hope you guys enjoyed. See you in the next war story.